Let's create a super simple avoider game. If you go to hunkim.com/share/avoid1.fla, you can download a CS6 version of this flash file. If I press Control Enter, and you can see that we have a basic avoider game, and if I collide, it says you died. So let's understand this very, very simple code. So if I go to the timeline, I have some code here in the actions layer. You can see there's letter A. It means there's code there. Let's go to the window actions, and if you look at the code here, we just copy the import statements. This is something that we're going to use. Our stage.addEventListener, our program is listening for us to press the key down. In the event that we press key down, it's going to call this function called pressed button, and it means that we press the button, we hit the key, and it's moving down. Now our program, our stage, is also listening for entering the frame. Every single time our game enters the frame, and I believe our game is running at 24 frames per second. If I click on the stage, go to properties, you can see it's 24 FPS, 24 frames per second. We can change that as well. It's going to call the function onEnter. So just copy the pattern here. And what's happening is we have some code here. Let me just show you something here. So if I close this window, I drew this square box, the hero, and I have an enemy up here off the screen. So this hero, if you go to properties, is called movie 1. It's a movie clip, and it's 50 by 50. How did I draw that? I used my epic art skills. I went to the rectangle tool. I chose a fill color. For example, if I choose yellow, and I made sure there's no stroke, and I just drew a small rectangle. I clicked on the selection tool onto the shape, went to properties, and I typed in a width of 50 by 50. Enter. You can see we have exactly 50 by 50 pixel hero, as well as the enemy is the same. Now of course we can use Photoshop to do that as well. The reason I made this 50 by 50 is I want this to jump 1, 2, 3, 4 possible spots for this game here. If I right click, change the document properties, you can see the document settings. This is a regular AS3 flash file. 200 pixels width, 400 pixels height, black background. Alright, so this is movie 1, the hero, and the enemy is movie 2. So let's go to the code here, go to window actions. So the idea here is every single frame, the enemy is going to increase its Y position by 5. And then we're going to check to see if there's a collision. This is a comment here, // if movie1.hitTestObject, movie 2. So there's a function built into Flash, and this function belongs to movie clips. If a certain movie clip hits another movie clip, if there's any type of collision in terms of pixels, it traces you died. This is a very useful print message that traces to the output window. It's useful for debugging, and we saw that when I initially ran the game. And then when I press Control Enter, you can see that right now if I move, there is no message. Now be careful because we're so close here. If you're off by 1 pixel, it might actually hit it, but nonetheless we're fine for now. And then what about if you press the button? In the case that you do press a button, and this void statement, by the way, is optional. You don't even need that. It means the function doesn't return anything. If event.keycode equals keyboard.left, these are blue special words built into Flash. Somehow if you push the left arrow key on your keyboard, the movie 1's, the hero's X position is going to decrease by 50. So I made the hero and the enemy into movie symbols. I'm going to basically jump left. Otherwise, if I hit the right arrow, I'm going to jump right 50 pixels. And you can see that I can move left, I can go off the screen, which is a problem, which we'll deal with later. But right now, I can dodge things and avoid things, and I'm going to finish off this tutorial by talking about this text box here. So here we have this text box. You click on the letter T, go to properties. This here, I call it text 1, just to keep things as simple as possible. It's a dynamic text, means that it can change, and it's good for a high score. Now I use the custom font from dafont.com. Bebas New is very pretty. Now whenever you actually have your game ready to share with others, you might get this error message saying you must go to text font embedding. So if you want to make sure that your font looks the same as for other people, go to font embedding, and you can see I actually stuck in Bebas New. So how would I do this if I were to change the font? What if you wanted to make sure that the font is something else? What if I make it, I don't know, Berlin, for example? How do you make sure this Berlin font or some other custom font works for all peoples? So what you would do is you go to text. Well, let's see what happens when I run this, by the way. It says fonts should be embedded for text, yada yada. And so what I'll do to fix this font embedded error message is go to text font embedding, and I'll just call this Berlin. Type it in here, Berlin, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to choose all the characters, and let's just make sure we hit the drop down box here and find that font, Berlin. Berlin, here you go, there's the one I'm using, and then click on the plus sign. So you can see that I successfully stuck in the Berlin there, and click on OK, and you shouldn't get the error message anymore. Control Enter. You can see there's no more output error message, which is great. Alright, to be continued. If you want me to make more tutorials, it's very time consuming, but I know that you love it, so just please subscribe, comment, and like.